60% of the budget and only see 4% of it back. Where's our money going? Where's our taxpaying dollars going? It's really quite frustrating because I always look around at other boroughs and I see all the things that other boroughs have, and I'm like, hey.
Marjorie from the Bronx, how do you feel about that?
I'm here with you.
I know.
And we're the forgotten boroughs, right? I'm all the way in the north, abandoned, right? And you're also abandoned out in Staten.
We're over there in Staten Island, you know. Somebody said to me the other day, this is my first time here. And I've lived in New York my whole life.
By the way, I went to, there's some amazing places to go. Some of the best barbecue I've had in my life was at, I can't remember the name of it. It's just south of the Verrazano Bridge.
Juicy Lucy.
Juicy Lucy. Great barbecue. If you guys are looking for a great barbecue joint in Staten Island, Juicy Lucy. Also, I just wanted to say to our Zoom audience, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Assist in the introductions. If you have any questions, we'll start taking Q&As shortly. If you joining us on Zoom have any questions, throw them in the chat and we will make sure to get to them and that your questions get answered. Yeah, it's interesting. Staten Island, some of the issues there are very similar to things about public transportation, mental health, the opioid crisis, school issues, economic issues. Then you also have other issues like beer and turkey.
Lots of turkey issues. I was knocking doors yesterday and got followed by a turkey. And turkeys can be very aggressive. They can be very aggressive, so you have to be very careful. Because, if the turkey is following you, you gotta be ready to bolt.
I have some pics of turkeys from Staten Island.
Well, listen, turkeys are like everywhere. You just stop taking pictures after a while.
But before we go too much off the rails, let's go back. So what are the first issues you guys would want to work with the next comptroller on?
So, transparency, right? Letting folks understand what the budget is supposed to do, right? You give $1 in tax. Where does it roll out? How much does 1 penny really do, right? Where does our tax really go? And let's audit more, right? When we're talking about holding agencies accountable, what really do we want to hold them accountable to? What are our metrics? What do we expect, right? I'd love to see Department of Buildings is one of the agencies that we really want to delve into. It's so divided, and we don't see its results, right? We have in my district a lot, and I don't know if it happens to you, where neighbors use it as a weapon to call on each other, and I end up having constituents with $40,000 in bills because their neighbor didn't like them, so they just called to harass. So let's come into this agency and say, well, what's its purpose, and if it's supposed to be encouraging or discouraging home ownership, and how do we actually elevate our communities forward, right? What other agencies would you like to see? DOE.
Yes.
DOE.
Definitely DOE. DOE has the largest budget in the entire city. And as a person that works for the DOE,
DOE's Department of Education.
Department of Education, sorry. Sometimes you get used to acronyms, so you get with all the acronyms, and I do sometimes wonder, where's all this money going? Because it should be going to our children, right? I'm literally, figuratively, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you can look at 7th grade, it's the 7th grade test, to see what students' reading levels are at. And a majority of students by 7th grade are barely reading at 3rd grade level. Our children cannot read. These are children that are going to become adults. And if we are bringing children and adults into the world that can't even read, then we are failing our society. So really, right then and there, just basic looking at how we can make sure that our children are reading at level. That's where I want to start. Because there's no reason, in my opinion, why our children should be learning how to read. So.
I love that we're just passing these mics around. It's like teamwork. Already working well together. $28,000 per student, 28 kids per classroom. That's like $780,000 per classroom. But it's not going there.
No, it's not.
And you see it everywhere. I just saw an analysis yesterday at the NYPD budget. The amount, 14% decrease in budgeting going to precincts and to patrol officers. a 60 to 70% increase in overhead costs at One Police Plaza. You see that with education spending. The huge increase in education spending, not creating smaller class sizes, not getting kids reading at grade level. It's all going to overhead at the Department of Education. And it's not making any difference.
To your point,
Yeah.
in my district, I have schools that don't even have a library.
No.
How do you expect them to learn how to read or appreciate a good book if you don't have a library, if you don't have the setting for them, right? You have to create the space for them, and we don't.
We have the prioritize it. And then, of course, what we've seen is what this pandemic brought to light is something that already existed. The fact that there's a huge technology divide. A lot of students don't have access to internet. I work with students, and we would run work-based learning programs with them, and I had a student who was doing her work on her phone. And she has to pass the phone around to her siblings because they have to share the phone. I think all too often we live in these echo chambers and we take things for granted. And going back to the role of government, and I keep saying this over and over again because I want people to understand that government has a job to improve people's quality of life. And if we're not doing that, we are failing. The fact that our children are reading, they don't have access to technology, they don't have access to internet. These are things that should be basic, that government should be providing. There's no reason why we should be going back to school. Students should be going back to school in September and not every kid get handed a laptop. Every kid should get handed a laptop and a Wi-Fi stick. Every single kid. It's doable if the political will is there, and hopefully, if we get elected, we're gonna make it happen.
I mean, the city took longer to get 70,000 tablets into the hands of school kids than it took scientists to develop a vaccine.
Wow.
It's astonishing. So with that said, what questions do you guys have? Anybody online? Donna?
Wait.